Are you considering investing in Cleveland and not sure what neighborhoods or zip codes you should be focusing on? Well, stay tuned because I have your answers. My name is Tom Garuccio, your local neighborhood realtor here in Cleveland. I work with investors from all over the world, helping them find properties that fit their needs here in Cleveland. So, follow along with me and we'll run through some of my favorite neighborhoods and favorite zip codes related to investors focusing on long-term buy and holds, fix and flips, and also investors specifically looking to cash flow. Now, many of these zip codes and neighborhoods will offer options for multiple investment types, but let's go through each category, starting with long-term buy and hold properties. These properties are for investors looking for cash flow, but also appreciation over time. First, we have the Brooklyn area in Cleveland. It's zip code 44144 and 44109. Brooklyn offers nice, safe neighborhoods with high rental demand and a very affordable entry price point. This area is one of my absolute favorites for buy and hold properties because property values are continuing to rise and demand for the area is strong. Next is Cam's Corner, which is zip code 44111. Years ago, the city of Cleveland had a rule that all employees had to live within city limits. Camp Corner is a really special neighborhood where most of the police and firefighters ended up settling. It's a very nice and safe area with really strong buyer and rental demand. It offers shopping and nightlife and is really a unique neighborhood in the city. The entry point price-wise is a little higher, but you can also expect your property values to rise over time and bring strong rent return. Third is Ohio City and Tremont, which is 44113 zip code. Ohio City and Tremont have undergone extreme gentrification in the last decade, and they are the two most sought-after neighborhoods in Cleveland, Ohio. Ohio City and Tremont have incredible shopping, restaurants, nightlife, and it has really brought young professionals from all over the area. The entry price point these two neighborhoods is much, much higher than the surrounding, but for someone looking for long-term investment that will bring high rental demand, yield high rents, and appreciate over time, this is a good choice. The only real drawback is the high entry point, and because of that, many investors do steer clear. Just outside the city limits is Cleveland Heights, which is zip code 44118, and Parma, which is zip code 44130, 29, and 34. Just outside of the city of Cleveland, both of these do have higher entry points, but with better school systems, they are more likely to draw families. Putting families in your rental property, you are more likely to keep them long term, and obviously that makes for a better investment. Next, let's talk about fix and flips in Cleveland. First, we're going to talk again about Ohio City, which is 44113. As I mentioned before, the demand to get into Ohio City and Tremont is huge. Fix and flips opportunities are all over this area, but the high entry point makes it a little more risky for the inexperienced investor. If you're experienced in fix and flips, it is a place I would highly recommend because of the profit you can make. If you're looking for your first, you may want to consider starting in a lower entry point neighborhood and really just get your processes in order and down pat before undergoing a larger project. This area will demand a higher end flip because the young professionals moving into this area are expecting a nicely done home, but they are willing to pay top dollar for it. 44102, which is Detroit Shoreway area, sitting right next to Lakewood Edgewater Beach. There's plenty of opportunities for this really cool up-and-coming neighborhood, and there's still plenty of houses that need rehabbed. Pay attention on this one because there are certain pockets in this area that are more or less desirable than others. Arguably, my favorite neighborhood for fix and flips, again, Cam's Corner, 44111. As I mentioned before, Cam's Corner is a very unique neighborhood within the city and draws a lot of demand. Within Cam's, there's plenty of opportunities for fix and flips, and it really should yield a higher return. However, like all of the in-demand areas, the entry point is a little higher, although it's certainly much lower than Ohio City and Tremont. Because of that, Cam's Corner is at the top of my list in choices for fix and flips. Lastly, Parma, another of my favorites for doing fix and flips, and it is a good location with strong schools, a good place to add to your search when looking for your next project. Finally, for my investors looking strictly for cash flow, these are the investors who are looking to put some money into property and in return bring large monthly payments back. In order to cash flow heavy, we're mostly going to be investing in areas where we won't probably see a ton of appreciation. The first neighborhood I would recommend is 44105, which we refer to as Slavic Village. This area has a huge rental demand and a low entry price point. I work with some investment firms that are investing heavy in this area because it is so low risk for them. For the price point you can buy a turnkey property at and the rent it returns, it really becomes a no-brainer. This area has been undergoing some gentrification and improvements, so if things keep going well, you may also yield some good appreciation over time. However, the main goal in this area really is cash flow. Also, the Glenville neighborhood, zip code 44108. Glenville is on the east side of Cleveland. Now that's different from East Cleveland. A lot of people get those things confused. Glenville is another area that offers extremely low entry points coupled with high rental demand and high rents. So it's another great area for those investors looking to cash flow. Throughout Cleveland, there are so many different neighborhoods, and within those neighborhoods, there's certain areas that perform better or worse than others, of course. But overall, investing in Cleveland is one of the smartest decisions you can make. But the biggest mistake I see, especially with out-of-area investors, they don't understand what or where they're buying. It's incredibly important to have an understanding of what you're looking for and what you're looking to accomplish. So for more on that, check out my video of the 5 biggest mistakes investors are making when buying Cleveland. And of course, follow along and reach out if you have any questions or are looking to add to your portfolio. I'd love to hear from you and talk about what your needs are and how we can make them happen. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Tom Garuccio, your local neighborhood realtor.